Okay, everybody, welcome to Pantry Meals with Dose of Daisy. Today we have Daisy Gonzalez on from Dose of Daisy. So today we're going to be doing 3 quick meal ideas for mealtime made easy with some kitchen hacks and some healthy alternatives thrown in there. So welcome, Daisy. Thank you so much for doing this for our students. And yeah, you can just take it away from here.
Thank you so much, Enrique, for having me. Welcome everyone to my kitchen, one of my favorite places at home. And like Enrique explained, I'm excited to show you guys a couple of meal hacks, some pantry must-haves, and I'll be going over 3 simple recipes that I've laid out all here for you. Just a quick little run through of the 3 recipes. I will be making a spinach salad, so it's going to be like a little Mexican twist using 5 ingredients. Just 5 ingredients, so it'll be a nice quick ingredient fix. And then repurposing the same base of those ingredients, I'm going to make a salsa bean dip. And then lastly, I'll be making a quick spinach smoothie. So again, the purpose is how can we maximize the amount of meals that we can make using the least amount of ingredients. Everything that I have here today is under $20, so I'm a big fan. I always say it's a big thing to do. So all the recipes here today are they're all vegan and plant-based, but as I'll show each recipe, you can modify it and make it work for you. I'm gonna quickly show you guys how I've set it all up for you. If you'll follow me along, and I will be showing you right here. We have spinach, and I'll show you a little quick health hack, how to keep everything nice stored and healthy. We'll be using some almond milk, some strawberries, banana, peanut butter. For our salad base and our bean, we have our corn, our bean, tomatoes, red onions, a mix of lemons, and some cilantro. So I'll be showing you guys all of that in a couple of simple, easy steps. So first off, I say let's start with our salad. I'm going to be using baby spinach, and here's a quick tip for when we're talking food, reducing food waste. I always say add a paper towel to the top. That way your spinach lasts longer, and even more so now with COVID-19, as we're buying more in bulk, we want to make your grocery dollars stretch. So always add a paper towel. So we're going to add a couple of spinach leaves to our salad bowl over here. And then we will be adding the basis of our protein for this dish in particular will be the beans. So I'm using black beans in here. And I'm only gonna do about half of a can. You can always measure it out. So what's great about beans is it's inexpensive. And I always say, how can you make your bang for your buck stretch the most and do it in a healthy way? Always go for your low sodium or no salt added options when we're buying canned food. So at a time like this, again, we're dealing with having to buy in bulk and having it last longer. I'm a big pro to some canned items like fruits and veggies, and beans are a great source of that. So always make sure to go to the no salt added. Now I'll be adding a couple of corn little bits. Same thing, you want to go for that low sodium option. Super inexpensive, and it gives it a nice kick. And I'm going to be adding some tomatoes. I'm using Roma tomatoes in this recipe. I like Roma tomatoes in particular because they're a good sized tomato, and again, inexpensive, and you're still getting those yummy antioxidants in there. So adding some tomatoes in there. And then for my 5th ingredient, remember we're sticking to 5 ingredient fixes, I'm going to be adding some red onion. And you can add as much as you want here. I like to just douse it a little bit. And then lastly, so these are my 5 main ingredients. Now, I'm gonna make a quick recipe for our dressing. Again, another healthy tip to use here, I always say go for your own homemade dressings as opposed to buying a store-bought. It's less sugar added, it's the healthier variety, and you know you're getting your good healthy fats, plus you're seasoning it to your own flavors. So I'll be using some yellow lemons for this. Just going to quickly squeeze it here. Then I'll be adding a little bit of cracked pepper in here. I like to use pink Himalayan sea salt, so adding a little bit of that. And then lastly, I mentioned healthy fats. So when you're creating salad dressing, always try and use extra virgin olive oil. It's one of the best healthy fats out there, and they're great for marinating or for salad dressings. Now we just give it a quick 2-second stir. Super simple, no headache required. Okay, you just toss it in here. And we give it a nice little toss. Mix it once more. And there you have it. It's a really good, this recipe here is plant-based and it's vegan, it has no cheese, but feel free to add any sort of extra toppings you'd like. I wanted to stick to something simple that you can make at home, and I call this a pantry fix. It's very likely you have these items in your fridge, but again, you can always add some grilled chicken over it, some steak, or some shrimp, whatever type of animal protein you enjoy, feel free to add it in there. So that's our first recipe. Now, I also mentioned that when we're doing stretching our grocery dollars and I bought everything here under $20, how can we repurpose to reduce our waste? So now I'm going to show you what I call a nice bean dip. So this is a fresh homemade salsa, and it may sound like it takes a lot of time, but it's super simple. So I'll show you what's in. I start off with a tomato base. I'm gonna add all the rest of our tomatoes in there. And then we're going to add some of those beans that I showed you earlier. Now what's great about beans is that it's a really high in fiber, also a great source of protein, and good iron in there as well. And then when I make it a little sweet, so I'll also repurpose that corn I used earlier for the salad into this dip. And I'll do one more spoonful. And my fifth ingredient will be something new. So this time I'm using cilantro. So I'm just going to add a little bit of that in there. Gives it a nice little kick. And then lastly, repurposing that red onion I used earlier. And the good thing here is if you don't like red onion, you can always swap it out and do white onion or yellow onion in it as well. So I'm going to add some onion in there. And those are 5 ingredients base. So now to make it and bring it all together, I'm now going to use a green lime. Now this is a handy dandy tool that I highly recommend you have in your pantry or you have in your kitchen, a lemon squeezer. You'll find yourself using it. So just give that a nice little squeeze there. Then I'm going to reuse that extra virgin olive oil I just showed you and give it a good drizzle. Some cracked pepper and some salt. Now we're going to mix that quickly. And then simple and easy, and you have a homemade fresh bean dip. Now, if you have some corn chips around, or if you want to have it with tequila, feel free to enjoy it that way. And for our last and final dish, I'm going to be making a smoothie. So this is what I call our Power Green breakfast smoothie. So I'm going to add some more of that spinach I used earlier in my salad. I'm just going to toss it in here. Then I pre-chopped some strawberries. So this smoothie, as I showed you earlier, I'm going to toss in some strawberries in here. And I'm going to add 1 banana. Now this recipe yields about 2 servings. Now if you want to downsize it, you can always just do half the allotted amount. So I'm going to do 1 full banana. And I'm going to add a good heapful of peanut butter. So now here's another healthy tip. This peanut butter is just peanuts, no hydrogenated oils, and a good thing to remember is that peanuts are a good source of healthy fats as well. So when you are buying pre-made peanut butters, I always recommend going for the low salt option, just like I mentioned earlier with our canned food or canned vegetables. And then you want to really try and avoid those trans fats. So make sure when you're reading the nutrition label, just to look out for peanut and low salt, nothing else, no funky fillers. So I'm gonna do, I love peanut butter. So I'm just gonna do a nice hefty little spoonful. So not only am I getting a good healthy fat in here, but I'm also, peanut butter is another option for a good source of protein. So we're talking plant protein, this is a nice healthy option too. And then lastly, I'm gonna give it a nice splash of almond milk here to top it off in my 5 ingredient mix. Just a generous amount here. Now, don't mind the noise. I'm gonna give it a nice little swirl. Now, I'm using a NutriBullet. You can use a blender and it blends it nice and smoothly. Either one works. I apologize for that, but it took 2 seconds, a nice little, and then I'm gonna fill it up here in my mason jar. And it yields about 2 servings. And that's our 3 5 ingredient mix recipe today.
Amazing, Daisy. Thank you so much. They all look so good. And it looks like a great dinner that you're about to have. So thank you so much for putting this together and making these dishes come to life. And I'm sure that our students are gonna be able to make them at home, and they're healthy on top of it, which I think is so important. But now we're going to answer some student questions. So a couple of days ago, we asked you guys to submit some questions. If you guys had any questions, health related for Daisy or food related, especially during this time, there's a lot of snacking going on, a lot of unhealthy snacking going on, for sure, I know is happening. So we had some students submit some questions. So the first one is, any easy vegan or vegetarian meals that you have? And all of these are actually vegetarian, I think, or vegan, right? But I guess the question now, we can alter it to, do you have any other tips for vegetarian or vegan snacks or anything that you like to make that is vegetarian or vegan?
So yeah, that's a really great question. So I mentioned earlier legumes. Legumes are anything that are beans. It could be lentils, chickpeas, peanuts, you have black beans, red beans, white beans, cannellini, the list goes on, right? So a good, healthy, and easy, inexpensive snack that you can make at home, you can, if you have a can of garbanzo beans, you want to drain them, you want to rinse them, and you can toss them in the oven with a little bit of olive oil, paprika, salt, and pepper, and you toast your chickpeas. So that's one way to get a good, healthy, crunchy, yet satisfying snack. Another way to do is, I always say hummus. So how can we be very versatile when it comes to making our own dips? So you can, instead of doing, as I showed earlier, I made a black bean dip here. 5 ingredients, also vegan and plant-based, but you can also make hummus at home. Super simple. All you need is a can of garbanzos or a can of black beans, and you want to add some olive oil, some lemon, salt, pepper, and you put it in a blender, and in 2 seconds, 2 minutes at most, you have homemade hummus. So that's another great option where it's plant-based and it's vegan. And then lastly, kale chips. If you buy a big bag of kale and you just put it into a mixing bowl, you add some lemon, some salt, some extra virgin olive oil, and then you pop it in the oven and you slowly just bake it for a while, and you'll have homemade kale chips. So that's a couple of the top of mind that come.
So good. I had a really good friend of mine that was vegan. So she actually showed me a couple of these recipes that you're talking about, like the baked chickpeas. They're so good. They're so good, especially for snacking. And then like the kale chips that you just mentioned. She would put tofu cheese on top, and we would bake it. And it's really like a chip almost. It's so good. But thank you so much. I also didn't know that hummus was so easy to make. That's really, really cool. But we'll move on to the next question. So Next question, I'm going to lump the next two questions together because they're pretty similar, and you also already answered these a little bit. But what are your tips on limiting snacking or healthy snack options? I know that you've already mentioned a couple that you can make. Maybe you can mention some healthy snacks maybe that you like to buy from the grocery store that you think are good, and then also some tips on limiting your snacking during this time, which I know everybody's struggling with.
Okay, so this is a great question. Number one, I want to start with the second part of your question. So as we're transitioning to a stay-at-home order, we're dealing with a lot of emotions. And when we're trying to find that healthy balance with food and our emotions, that's when we get into the emotional eating side of things. So there's a good technique that I like to recommend, and it's called HALT. So H stands for hungry, A stands for angry, L for lonely, and T for tired. So this is where you do those daily check-ins with yourself. If you find yourself, kind of like navigating to your pantry or to your fridge, you just halt and you ask yourself, am I hungry? Am I angry? Am I lonely? Or am I tired? So this is a nice way to internally just deal with that emotion. If you're hungry, go for that snack. If you are angry or lonely or feeling tired, then if you're tired, maybe take a nap. If you're lonely or angry or sad, then this is where we would do those emotional eatings, which we want to cut and reduce. So it's just a nice way to have that reflection, right? Because we want to deal with what we're happening as opposed to just reaching for those snacks. Now, when it comes to healthy snacks, some of the store-bought options that they're out there, I mentioned you can make your own kale chips. There's at the grocery store, but I always say go for fruits and veggies. It's the easiest thing, it's accessible, it's inexpensive, and you're getting your vitamins, your fiber, your nutrients. So things like apples, diced apples with peanut butter. If you want to go for citrus fruits, so oranges. Another option can be, if you are having potato chips, then again, you just want to be mindful of the ingredient list as opposed to the chips themselves. And then lastly, another good option that I really enjoy are like pita chips. Those are always great to keep on hand.
Yeah, and you can make some homemade hummus with those now that we know.
Homemade hummus, there you go.
Yeah, that HALT is so interesting. I actually have never heard of that, so it's really cool that you have that little acronym that will kind of show you why you're snacking. That's really, really interesting. So definitely implement that. Next question we have is some favorite healthy restaurants or food that you can order for like a Grubhub thing or for pickup right now. I know that's a big thing right now.
Oh, so right now, one of my recent discoveries is Bolé. So they're a chain healthy restaurant. It's sort of like design your own salad bowl, but they have great things like sweet potato noodles and cilantro noodles. So it's just, and it's really inexpensive. I want to say you can get a good solid bowl for under $10, $12, where you choose your main source of whole grains. So it could be noodles or rice, and then you add your toppings. So that's a great option too. I'm a very big homebody. So other restaurants that I think can come to mind on that, let's see.
I've heard of Diced. I don't know if you've ever been to Diced. I've heard that's a pretty popular option. It's kind of like Chipotle, but like healthy bowls.
Yes. So I haven't quite heard of that, but I'll have to take a note and try it out after things settle down a little bit. But then there's also Delirio Freshco. I know that those are a little bit more in South Florida, so those are a little bit more accessible. But those are the two that really come to mind in terms of like healthy dining out, pickup, delivery.
Awesome. Well, last question that we got from some students, I think this will help everybody. And this is, I guess, like a personal thing. But how do you sanitize your groceries when you do go grocery shopping? Do you do anything specific right now?
So that's a really, really good question. I actually just went, I did a huge grocery haul yesterday. So I call it like the decontamination station. So as soon as I come in, I make sure to put all the groceries right at the front door. And it takes some time and it's tedious because it's a new process and we're all getting used to it. But I use Lysol wipes or any sort of like those alcohol sanitizers to clean the outside of things, right? But if you're dealing with fruits and vegetables and produce, then one of the best ways to clean it is you can make in a huge pot or a huge bowl, you can just put all your items or do them by batches. You add a couple of drops of vinegar and a little bit of baking soda. So this really helps to alkalize and like clean everything and sanitize it really well to make sure that, again, you're reducing your food waste, so you're making sure it lasts longer and you're also being safe with the COVID-19.
Awesome. That's perfect. That's exactly what we're doing too. We're just brushing everything down with the Lysol wipes. We're immediately throwing away any of the plastic bags that we have. So yeah, I think that's great advice. Thank you so much, Daisy. But besides that, I think you've given our students a lot to start implementing in their lives right now, a lot that they can make at home. So I want to say thank you so much for showing them these 3 really, really amazing 5-ingredient snacks and meals that they can make. Besides that, is there anywhere that students can reach you if they have any questions, maybe LinkedIn or any social media that you might be on?
Yes, so handle for Instagram is @DoseOfDaisy. And my Facebook page is also @DoseOfDaisy Co.
Awesome. Sounds great. Thank you so much for joining us. If you guys have any questions, make sure to reach out to Daisy or send us a DM on Instagram @FIU Honors, and we'll reach out to her and make sure that you guys get in contact. Thank you so much, Daisy. Everybody stay healthy, eat healthy, and stay safe out there. No problem.
Have a safe and healthy afternoon yourself. Thank you so much for having me.